Think about the last time someone truly hurt you. Did you scream? Did you cry? Did you fight back? Or did you go completely silent? Here's something most people never talk about. Some of the deepest wounds in this world make no sound at all. No slamming doors, no raised voices, just a person sitting quietly, staring at nothing, carrying a weight that words can't even reach. And if you've ever loved someone like that, or if you are someone like that, you already know how terrifying that silence can feel. From the outside, it looks like coldness, like punishment, like they don't care. But what if I told you that silence, like this, isn't distance? What if it's actually the loudest cry for help you'll ever not hear? Today, we're going inside the psychology of people who go quiet when they're hurt, and what we find there might completely change the way you see them and yourself. Here's the first thing you need to understand. People who shut down when they're in pain are not choosing to be difficult. Most of the time, they don't even fully understand why they go quiet themselves. Ask them what's wrong and they'll say nothing. Push harder and you might get "I'm fine." But what's really happening underneath is something far more complex. When emotional pain crosses a certain threshold, the human brain doesn't behave rationally. Neuroscience shows us that intense emotional distress can actually disconnect the thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, from the emotional brain. And when that connection breaks, language goes with it. So it's not that they won't talk to you. It's that in that moment, they can't. The words are locked somewhere deep inside, behind a wall the brain built on its own, without permission, without warning. And the more pressure you put on them to speak, the higher that wall gets. This is not a personality flaw. This is not manipulation. This is the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect a person from complete emotional collapse. But why do some people reach that threshold so much faster than others? Why does one person cry openly while another person goes completely still? The answer almost always lives somewhere in the past. First, what they learned as children. Children are not born hiding their pain. Barbies cry, toddlers throw tantrums, big emotions come naturally. But somewhere along the way, many of these quiet adults were taught, not through words, but through experience, that their emotions were too much. Maybe they cried and were told to stop being dramatic. Maybe they got angry and were punished for it. Maybe they shared how they felt, and the person they shared it with simply looked away. Over time, the brain made a quiet calculation: if I show pain, I lose love, so I'll hide the pain. And that habit, built for survival in childhood, follows them all the way into adulthood. Second, what painful relationships taught them. Some people didn't start out this way. They were once open. They once tried to talk things through, but then they entered a relationship where their words were used against them, where expressing feelings turned into arguments, where vulnerability became a weapon in someone else's hands. After enough of that, silence becomes the safest language they know. It's not weakness, it's wisdom that came at a very high price. Third, the way their mind is simply built. And then there are people whose silence has nothing to do with trauma at all. Some individuals are natural internal processors. They cannot think out loud. They need to go inside first, sort through everything quietly, and only then can they surface with something real to say. For these people, being pushed to respond immediately is like being asked to hand someone a letter you haven't written yet. The thoughts are there, the feelings are real, they just need time to find form. From the outside, someone who goes quiet looks calm, maybe even cold. But inside, it's anything but quiet. Their mind is running at full speed, replaying the conversation, examining every word, trying to figure out what went wrong, wondering what to do next, and simultaneously managing a flood of emotion that has no outlet. This is one of the great misunderstandings about quiet people in pain. We assume that because they're not reacting, they're not feeling. The truth is often the opposite. They're feeling everything so intensely that their entire system has had to shut the outside world out just to keep functioning. And here's the part that breaks my heart every time. Many of them go quiet to protect you. They can feel the sharpness rising inside them. They know that if they open their mouth right now, what comes out won't be the truth, it'll be the damage, words designed to wound, things they can never take back. So they seal their lips, not to punish you, not to win, but because they care enough about you to hold the storm inside rather than let it destroy what they've built together. The silence isn't an attack. It's a sacrifice. So what do you do when someone you love disappears into that silence? The instinct for most people is to follow them, to push, to demand answers. Talk to me, why won't you say anything? This isn't fair. And every single time, that makes it worse. Because here's what they need more than anything in those moments. Not your words, your patience. The most powerful thing you can do is step back, not in frustration, but in genuine understanding, and let them know they are safe to take the time they need. Something simple like, I can see you're overwhelmed, I'm not going anywhere, take the time you need, and I'll be here when you're ready. That's it, that single act of not pressing, not chasing, not demanding, it sends a signal to their nervous system that the threat has passed, and slowly, the walls begin to come down on their own. You cannot force a person out of a freeze response, but you can make it safe enough for them to thaw. And if you're the one reading this, who recognizes themselves in every word, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. The way you process pain is not a defect. You are not broken, you are not cold, you are not incapable of love or connection. You simply carry your emotions at a depth that not everyone knows how to reach. But here's the responsibility that comes with that. Silence protects you, but it can also slowly starve a relationship of the honesty it needs to survive. The people who love you can't read your mind, and while your silence may feel like protection, to them, it can feel like abandonment. So when you feel that freeze coming, try to leave a small signal, a text, a sentence, something like, I need some time to process this, I haven't gone anywhere, I'll come back to this conversation when I can do it right. That one small act of communication can hold an entire relationship together while you work through the storm inside. People who go quiet when they're hurting are not mysteries to be solved or problems to be fixed. They are people who learned, somewhere along the way, that the world wasn't always safe enough for their feelings, and they built a quiet place inside themselves to survive that. But underneath every silence is a story, and every story deserves to be heard. If this resonated with you, if you saw yourself or someone you love, drop a comment below. You don't have to share everything. Even just, I needed this is enough. Like this video, if it helped you understand something you couldn't quite put into words before. And subscribe, because every week, we go deeper into the parts of the human mind that most people never talk about. Until next time, be patient with the quiet ones, and be patient with yourself.